So what were the first few changes you noticed when you first became pregnant?
When I first became pregnant, I definitely noticed I was way more tired. So my energy levels completely dropped. I just wanted to sleep all the time. I was hungrier as well. My appetite increased, but also changed a lot. So foods that I used to really like, I didn't anymore.
Like what?
I used to eat pretty light and really enjoyed just having a lot of salads and light food. And I found instantly I needed more energy. I needed more fuel. I needed more protein for sure. And so I was kind of craving foods that gave me that, which at the beginning I think I was probably craving and eating foods that weren't really healthy. So I definitely need to put a little bit more effort into making healthier choices that still had, the bulk of energy that I needed.
So what sort of things did you do?
Well, definitely I started having shakes, a lot more shakes, because you're so hungry all the time. And sometimes you don't always have time to make food and to make full meals. So I found smoothies were a really great option. I was also really nauseous at the beginning of my pregnancy, and smoothies was something that didn't make me feel like it was going to come back up. There was something really refreshing about fruit, and also having something cold. I found like cold foods, it was just really refreshing. It made me feel way less nauseous. So smoothies were 100% my go-to. And yeah.
Did they help with your tiredness?
I really think that they did. I think I actually, you're going to be tired anyway, especially in your first trimester of pregnancy. But if you're not eating the right stuff, it's so much worse. So I think definitely having more nutrients dense foods definitely helped with my energy, especially just getting through that bulk part of the day that, you're working and you're still carrying on, with life, because you just have to. You can't change everything. You don't really have time to nap in the middle of the day, especially when you're at work. So that definitely helped. And having a protein powder at work really helped. That was another trick of mine. So yeah.
What about nausea? You mentioned that. So how was that for the first few months especially?
So I was quite nauseous up to maybe 16 weeks. And then it got a lot better and it just came infrequently. But yeah, the nausea was quite intense. And I think a lot of people experience nausea. It's just, your hormones are going crazy and your body's doing crazy stuff, and it's just all a little bit too much.
Did you vomit a lot?
I was quite a bit, yeah, but not as bad as I think some people have it. And probably just like a few times a week right at the beginning, which is, a huge amount for a normal person. But I know that some women, are just vomiting all the time, which should be really horrendous. Hello.
Did certain foods trigger it?
Hi. Yeah, so all takeout food, which is hard because you get takeout food because you're tired and you don't want to cook. And then most takeout food made me really sick, which I'm assuming is just because they were all really high in salt and sugar, especially Asian food, like Thai food and Chinese. So yeah, it's hard having to, always cook when you're feeling so exhausted, and also cooking when you're feeling really nauseous is really hard. I was completely disgusted by the smell and look of meat. I just couldn't even look at it, and I don't eat meat anyway, but even just looking at a shop window, I just couldn't deal. Which was, a lot of people say like, oh, just, start having more meat products to get all that protein in, to make you fuller for longer and to make your energy levels feel so better. And, being a vegetarian or vegan or not, I could not even face meat sitting on a table looking at me. It was just so disgusting. I don't know why. You want to talk as well. So I definitely had to look elsewhere for, that source of protein and energy and iron as well, especially iron.
Yeah, so what about iron? What happened to you with that?
So I found out in my, I think at the beginning of my third trimester, maybe in the middle of my pregnancy, that I was really low in iron. So low that they wanted to give me a transfusion, which I wanted to avoid. And also there was that risk that if it was
Maybe sit her up.
Okay. She just wants to talk about.
Okay, so they wanted to give you a transfusion.
Yeah. Which I didn't really want. And also if my iron was too low when I was giving birth to her, my recovery would be a lot longer, and I really wanted to get out of the hospital as soon as I could after my birth. So yeah, I really had to work on keeping my iron levels up, and just watching that in myself. It also contributed to me being totally exhausted, that, I had to have 2-hour naps every day and couldn't keep my eyes open. Every time I stood up, I was really, really dizzy. So that got quite intense, especially in the middle of my pregnancy. And that was all due to low iron as well.
So what did you do?
I tried to make sure that all my food sources had high sources of iron. They gave me iron supplements to have as well, which did help, but they're horrible. They're these liquid supplements that just taste like metal, and drinking them every morning was not my favorite thing to do. So I really tried to get it from food instead of taking supplements. Oh, excuse you. Yeah, so the biggest, all the hemp products, of course, are high in iron, which is amazing. So it's putting literally seeds on everything I eat, whether it be sweet or savory. It's just something I used to bring around a packet of seeds in my bag, put them in a little Tupperware box. So that was really good. I had hemp smoothies every morning. I just always did banana with the chocolate hemp and almond milk. And then the hemp oil too. So not only did I use the hemp oil on my skin while I was pregnant, but I put it in a lot of foods. There's so many great ways that you can use it in pastas and salads, and it's also that really helped with my fiber as well. I think adding all that, adding it into my meal every day, it helped with everything.
So fiber, were you constipated?
I think everyone is. Some people at the beginning of their pregnancy, that's how they know that they're pregnant, because your whole digestive system just totally changes. And it's all just hormonal, and you feel really dehydrated all the time because you're a lot hotter during the day. So you're losing a lot more water. So yeah, that definitely changed, which is very frustrating.
Did you notice that using the hemp prompted better bowel movements?
Yeah, using the hemp was great, because again, it wasn't going to a chemist and buying some artificial fiber supplement that, you're reading it and you're like, what is even in this? And it wasn't an extra thing that I had to do. It was the meal itself was what was high in iron, so I wasn't taking another supplement, which you're taking so many supplements that they give you that it just gets ridiculous after a point.
What else? You were taking folic acid, weren't you?
Yes, I had a prenatal supplement that had folic acid in it.
Oh no.
Hey.
Okay, so you were talking about folic acid just before Ivy went hysterical there.
Yeah, so folic acid is definitely one of those things that your doctor will tell you to have, your midwife tell you to have. Every appointment that you go to, they ask, are you taking prenatal vitamin, which is mainly folic acid. They say it's really good for babies, just overall development, brain development, especially in the first trimester. It's really important, which is, another thing that was so great about having hemp and having it in every meal is that I knew that I was definitely getting enough folic acid. It's not something that I ever had to worry about, and I had no problems during my pregnancy, or, our baby was really healthy and amazing. So, it's just one of the many benefits that you get from hemp during pregnancy is honestly, it just has everything that you need. It has protein so that you're not snacking all the time, and you have that energy and you're full for long enough. It's got the iron. Everyone needs more iron when you're pregnant. So many people become anemic. And getting transfusion, you can get it, but it's just a hassle. It's another thing that you've got to go in for. It's an appointment that you've got to make. And you want to make sure that when you do lose a bit of blood giving birth, which everyone does, you recover really quick and that you're not feeling drained after, and also just generally your energy throughout the day. As soon as I started making more of an effort to make sure I had more iron in my diet, to make sure I was having hemp in every meal, it made just the biggest difference that I forgot what it was like to have proper energy. I was like, oh wow, like I can get so much more done. I'm not napping for most of my day. Like I could concentrate. And then of course it has folic acid, as I just mentioned. And yeah.
So what about after you had IV? How have you noticed it's helped then? Especially with things like, you said you get really dehydrated, you're always drinking water.
Yeah. So you definitely get really dehydrated breastfeeding, and you also get quite hungry because you're burning so much energy. You just always, again, kind of feel like you need a snack. Snacking's really hard when you have a brand new baby and you spend most of your day sitting down and you aren't really burning a lot of energy otherwise. Like, you can get out for a little walk, but even that's really hard with a new baby, especially after you've just given birth. You're pretty exhausted. So I found having the hemp shakes was a great way to stay hydrated, a great way to have a little snack in a way. It's yum. So you're not, sometimes just drinking glasses and glasses and glasses of water gets a little bit boring.
Do you drink Saint Hemp while you're breastfeeding?
Yes, I do. Yeah, and it kind of I feel like it just refuels what I'm losing, essentially. So I'm not, again, I don't get to points in my day that I'm just starving and I end up making bad food choices because I'm not, lacking in anything. My body is abundant with everything that it needs, and I know that also the benefits of the hemp that I'm also getting are also going to bub through my breast milk, which is, always really reassuring. And it's honestly like taking a health supplement that tastes really good and you're not swallowing tablets. It's just part of your day. It's part of your meal. And you can drink it with one hand, which becomes incredibly important. Anyone that starts breastfeeding, you'll learn that you only can really eat food and order food at restaurants that, you can do with one hand, because inevitably at one point you're only going to have one hand to do it. So I was really finding, because it was too hard to have a meal with her in the morning, I wasn't eating until sometimes 3:00 in the afternoon, which is just insane. Like, you just feel horrible. And then when I got back into the routine of making a shake every morning, it takes 2 seconds to make. So even if she's losing her mind, it takes 2 minutes to make. So I don't have to actually worry about it. She can cry for 2 minutes. And then I can sit down, feed her, and essentially feed myself at the same time with, one hand. Ivy.
Is she okay now?
Yeah.
Okay, so the hemp seed oil.
Yeah.
How have you been using that?
Well, during my pregnancy, I started using it on my skin. So I started putting it on my belly. I started putting it on my legs. So when I came out of the shower, I would just put a little bit in my hand and essentially just rub it all over my body, because your body's changing quite a lot pretty quick. I also found I had really dry skin in my pregnancy, and I think it's just generally comes down to it's really easy to get dehydrated. So I had really dry skin, and seasons were changing at the time, so that's something that I swore by. It was so good, and I still do that. I still put it all over my skin. Same kind of thing. When you're breastfeeding, you get really dehydrated, and I definitely feel dehydrated on my skin and in my hair. Like, my hair's quite dry and brittle. So I started doing hemp oil masks in my hair, which have been amazing. I just do them whenever I can. Just whack them in. I can keep them in for a few hours, taking care of Barb. It just takes a second to wash out. And yeah, on the oil and in the protein, we've got, I think it's over 100% of your omega-3, daily recommendation, which is perfect, because if you do want to focus on skin and hair, you can't just rely on what you're putting topically on your skin or your hair. You've got to, it starts from what you're eating and starts from the inside. It just makes such a difference, especially after you have baby. Your hair gets much thinner because your hormones are changing again. Like you lose a lot of your hair, and I honestly haven't actually noticed that much hair loss like since I've been using it. And especially if you do the mask that you put at the root of the hair, it really is perfect for dealing with hair loss and such. And I also put the oil on Bub, so whenever we do massages for the baby, and massages on her tummy, she's got a tummy ache, I always use hemp oil because I know that it's really good for her skin. It has nothing artificial or crazy in it that is going to be of any harm. So like I'm confident that I'm kind of doing the right thing for her as well.
She doesn't have any rashes or anything?
No, she's never had nappy rash. She's never had a rash. She's never had dry patches of skin. Even her hair, like her scalp is fine as well. And I've just always, from like the first day, we've just been using hemp oil from the beginning, and I think that's definitely why.
Just to finish, what's the one piece of advice you'd give to pregnant/new mums?
Drink hemp. It's just the easiest way. Honestly, just have like one smoothie a day. It's the easiest way to get everything that you need. All the main components are like the most important things that you need at the time. Protein, iron, folic acid, your omega-3 and 6s, fiber, which is a huge one. Like it has everything. And it's so easy to do.
So look after yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And baby, you're giving it all to baby too. Because what you eat, they eat. Even though we're a bit grumpy.
On that note, we'll wrap it up.
Someone needs to nap.
Thank you, Prudence.
Someone needs to nap. Say bye.